Hey, it's Botanical Brian here at Colonial Gardens, and I'm hanging out with my flying friends in our butterfly enclosure. Here at Colonial Gardens, we are very passionate about pollinators. We know how important pollinators are to our world, and we know that pollinators pollinate over 80% of flowering plants. Also, they're responsible for 1/3 of the food that we eat. So every third bite that you take, you can thank a pollinator for that. Today, we're going to discuss the process of pollination. We're going to discuss how plants get pollinated, and we're also going to discuss things that we can do to protect and to preserve our pollinators. So first, let's talk about pollination. So what pollination is when pollen is carried from the anthers of one flower to the stigma of another flower, and that is called pollination, and then that fertilizes the other flower and is able to produce seed. So let's take a closer look at it. So on this hibiscus flower, you can see the reproductive parts are giant, so you can really get a good view of what's going on. And you can see the pollen is sitting atop these anthers right here. And what will happen is the butterfly or the bee will come in after the nectar, which is down in the base here at the nectar glands, and as the butterfly or bee comes in, this pollen will be deposited on its body. And then the bee or butterfly or other pollinator will fly to another flower, and as he comes in, the stigma, which is this right here, will catch that pollen, and then it will be transferred down into the base of that, and it will form a seed, and then that way a new seed is born. Pollinators are attracted to different flowers for different reasons. One of the reasons are flower colors. Look at all of the different colors that is in our butterfly enclosure. And pollinators like different colored flowers. They also like different fragrances. Some are attracted to flowers that smell great. Some pollinators are attracted to flowers that smell sour or don't smell good, like flies are attracted to flowers that do not smell very good. And then the flower shape is another thing that butterflies, hummingbirds, and other pollinators are attracted to. So this coneflower right here makes a perfect landing pad for a bee or a butterfly, and you can see where that's just perfect for them to come flying right in to get his nectar and to transport that pollen. Where in back of it, this is a hummingbird mint, and you can see those flowers are perfect for a hummingbird to get in there and get that nectar out, where a lot of other insects can't get in there. And there are so many different types of pollinators: bees, butterflies, ants, flies, beetles, but then there's some other fun pollinators, like the blue gecko is a pollinator, and there's also a sloth that's a pollinator, and there's even a little possum called a honey possum that is a pollinator. So there's just as many different types of pollinators as there are flowers that they pollinate. Pollinators have many different habitats and life cycles. Did you know that monarch butterflies migrate from Mexico to the United States and Canada every year? They travel up to 3,000 miles during their migration, and they pollinate along the way. But due to loss of habitat, this journey is becoming difficult for monarchs, and their population is starting to dwindle. As cities expand and build, the nectar sources and larval sources and habitat for monarchs are becoming scarce. But there are steps that we can take to assist the pollinators and attract them to your yard. One thing you can do is limit pesticide use, and if you have to use pesticides, use the least toxic material possible. Read your labels carefully and use the product as directed. Another key is spraying at night when the bees and other pollinators are not active. Use a wide variety of plants that bloom during different seasons, and also include native plants in your landscape. If possible, leave dead trees and logs. They provide a place for cover and nesting for our pollinators. Another thing you can do is set out watering bowls for the butterflies, and the butterflies will come and sit on the bowl and drink water out of it. Make sure that the water is shallow and not too deep so the butterflies can get in there and drink out of the bowls. Butterflies also like fruit, so you can set fruit like a melon cut open or an orange cut open, and the butterflies will come and drink out of that as well. Here is cantaloupe that we have for the butterflies. And then this is another way that we feed the butterflies. These are shallow dishes with Gatorade in them and small pebbles. And the butterflies can come and land on these pebbles, and then they will drink the Gatorade right out of the bowl there. So there are many different pollinators that play key roles in our Earth's ecology and food system. And there are so many things that we can do to assist and to preserve these pollinators, and also to raise awareness about pollinators. So go out and save some pollinators, and we'll see you next time.